Yeah, okay. I'll read the script, okay? Yeah? Is that enough? Every team at this World Cup that's underestimated Mauricio Pochettino has made the exact same mistake. They counted him out of a match he already found a way to win. He's been a manager who gets written off right before he proves the writing wrong, over and over again in the same tournament. If we take the group stage for example, Turkey beat this team in the final minute of a game that no longer mattered for qualification. Pochettino had already rotated 9 players out, protecting them for the knockout round that everyone assumed the US wouldn't even survive. The result looked like a warning sign, but it was a wise manager spending a meaningless match on preparation for the one that really counted. Take Bosnia as another great example. 10 men on the field for the final half hour, after Balogun's red card threatened to undo everything he had just built with the opening goal. The assumption in that moment was the same. The US would fall in their biggest match of the tournament so far, but turns out Pochettino didn't fold. He got that Tielemans free kick instead. And about Balogun's suspension itself, the single loudest doubt heading into Belgium, the top scorer, gone for the biggest match yet. Everyone treats this the same way they treated Turkey, the same way they treated the red card, as the underdog, as the luck of the moment finally catches up with them. But that's just the mistake repeating. Mauricio Pochettino has spent this entire tournament solving the problem directly in front of him. Pepe hasn't scored yet, right hasn't been the headline, but this man has found a different answer every single time the obvious one was unavailable, and there's no reason to believe Kevin De Bruyne is the exception that finally breaks the pattern rather than the next test of it. The mechanism is always the same. Everyone assumes the absence is the story. Pochettino has spent 3 matches proving the absence is just the setup for success. And this isn't just the first time everyone has watched Pochettino get chased into a corner and refused to accept it was over. In 2019, his Tottenham side stood 3 goals down on aggregate against Ajax in a Champions League semi-final, eliminated in everything but the final whistle, and somehow found a way through it anyway, completing one of the most improbable comebacks the competition has ever produced. The pattern that got him there in the first place is the same one showing up now, systemized into an actual USMNT identity, a back 3 that shifts into a 3-2 in possession, an aggressive press designed to win the ball back before the opponent organizes, fullbacks pushing high to stretch the width of the game. It is a system built on forcing chaos rather than avoiding it, exactly the approach of a manager who has never once treated a lost cause as a finished one. This team wants to do the impossible. They want to reach the moon, not just the sky, and this is the very last step for the USA to win their first of many future World Cups and transforming into a global powerhouse of football. What is that? You promised me that I was gonna be fine.
Today I feel
American. So the big question on many Americans' minds this weekend, and by many, I mean some, aside from how many firecrackers can we set off in the street without burning each other's houses down, is where will LeBron sign?
LeBron James.
But the lesser question on some Americans' minds is, will the USMNT beat Belgium? They need not wonder, they need to just ask me because I have the answer. No! You know how like birds and cats and shit can sense like a tsunami right before it hits? I can sense a USMNT loss when it's coming. Forget the 6th sense, it's the 7th sense, and I've got it. And I see dead people. 11 American-ish in some cases, 11 tired USMNT players lying on the grass, hugging, kissing one another because they just lost to Belgium in the knockout round for the 2nd time this century.
Belgians have survived!
And I have yeed my last ha. I'm kind of more of a cat guy, and of course I have a Texas thing going at the ready. You know what's funny? The USMNT has changed so much since 2014, but the Belgium team is largely the same, just older, and I really think that exact same team is going to beat us again. Exhibit ass these and these bozos and clowns. Folarin Balogun is the best striker we've had since Jose Altidore, and he is on another level, and we ripped him from the greedy hands of the British, and he was sent off last game by these, I don't have the words, these If you can't tell, I think he was sent off very unjustly. And I just don't see us winning without him. Ricardo Pepi will most likely be filling in at the 9, and he's sort of a jack of all trades, master of none. He's generally proficient at all the different tasks of a striker, but I don't necessarily think he really excels at anything. He did just have a really stellar season with PSV. He scored 16 goals. But he's not Folarin Balogun. He's only 23. He may be one day, but I don't think he's there yet. He hasn't scored a goal for the national team since 2014. It's a downgrade. Exhibit Alexi Lalas. I hate him. He is the worst. He is the worst analyst ever, and we can't get rid of him because his politics align with Fox's. This doesn't really have anything to do with how the USMNT will perform on Monday. I just really don't like this guy. Exhibit Christian Pulisic. If we are to have any hope at all against Belgium, President Pulisic needs to come up huge. He's, skill-wise, talent-wise, everything-wise, the best player who's ever played for us. And to be clear, I'm not saying he's the greatest player in USMNT history. He's not. He has not yet reached the upper echelons of the Father, the Spirit, and the Holy Goalkeeper, Dempsey, Donovan, Tim Howard. Not there yet, but he could be one day. And unfortunately, he's got a nagging injury that I think will hinder him from taking this game by the horns. Exhibit defense. Our defense is solid. Actually, Tim Ring has been on the national team since I was 12, and he's only gotten better with time. Might as well rename him Rothschild because he is like a fine wine. The rest of the defense is actually pretty good. Our keeper, Matt Freese, the newly elected Secretary of Defense, he's got a lot to prove. The national team has had a long series of really good bald goalkeepers here. Tim Howard, Casey Keller, Brad Fiedel, Brad Guzan. If Freese shaves his head, he'll be there. And he does have a lot to prove, but I have to flex this. I have to put this in 2 years ago, back when I was making MLS-related content before I made the sudden switch to video essays about the devil in hell. I put out a video ranking every MLS goalkeeper, and this was before Matt Freese had ever gotten a call-up. And here's what I said.
Matt Freese, I'm actually going to put S tier. I think he's been one of the top 2 keepers in the league this season, having an outstanding year. I think he's deserving of a USMNT call. He's been great. Just great for New York City in every way. Very well-rounded keeper. His shot stopping's been excellent. He's had a couple of massive games. I can't remember exactly what team it was against, but the dude had the game of his life a few weeks ago. It's crazy.
I mean, that's easily one of my best takes. So yeah, I like Freese, but I'm not sure that he's been tested before. He will be tested this Monday. I am actually going to watch this game in the exact same room on the exact same TV with pretty much the same family members that I did in 2014 with that knockout game. Deja vu against Belgium, and I think the result will be the same, unless Matt Freese can do what Tim Howard did on that fateful day and set the all-time World Cup single-game saves record. But even then, we lost. Belgium's 2 goal scorers on that day, Lukaku and De Bruyne. I do really think that if we win, it'll be a massive turning point in the history of this team. It is we are really facing the demons of the past here, and if we can conquer them, then it would be colossal for United States soccer. And, if we lose, we'll always have the women's team.
Today I feel gay.